Why do you need to have a study plan while you prepare for the Pearson test of English? It is important you have a study plan. Number one is because it will help you stay focused. Number two, it will help you get that score that you need. I mean, you have to work towards getting that score that you need. That is why you need a study plan. Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Juliet if you're new here. In today's video, we're basically going to be focusing on study plan for your Pearson test of English. Now, recently, the Pearson test of English, that's the owners of the exam, have just increased the cost of enrolling for Pearson test of English. Now, the cost used to be $385 here in Australia, inclusive of GST. But now, it's been increased to $410, inclusive of GST as well. That's a lot of money. Because while it was at $385, students used to complain about the cost, because some of them still need to undergo some tutorials to help put them together or help brush them up so they can write the exam. They still have to pay their tutor like me. Okay, then they will not still pay for the exam. They used to complain that it was a lot of money, especially for students that are overseas. Because the cost of hiring a tutor here in Australia is in Australian dollars. For instance, if someone wants to hire me and they live in Nigeria, they would have to pay me in Australian dollar. Now, if we convert the money from Australian dollars to Nigerian naira, it's a lot of money. So people have been complaining about the cost of writing the exam. And now Pearson has also increased the cost. So this is one of the reasons why I'm making this video today. You have to have a plan. You have to have a study plan. Unless you want to keep dashing them money. I use the word dashing because, I mean, that's a lot of money for an English exam. An exam that's just supposed to help you to prove that you can communicate in the country you're going to. Now, we're going to have it in sessions. I'm going to be looking at some things I wrote down here, why you need to have a plan, or points to note why you have a study plan. Now, a study plan is like you writing out like, this is what I'm going to do on day one, this is what I'm going to do on day two, and all the other days. It's just saying, okay, every early hours of the morning or at night before I go to bed, I'm going to dedicate 2 hours to studying Pearson test of English on my own. Of course, you can practice on your own. You mustn't use a tutor. But if you use a tutor like me, that's still okay. Or any of the wonderful tutors here on YT. I mean, everyone wants to help you pass, which is very necessary. Now, if you're going to be paying $410 here in Australia to write this exam, you have to stay focused. You have to do everything possible to pass. When I mean everything possible, I mean you have to put in your best shots. You have to give it your best. You have to practice. You have to really have a good understanding of what is required of you. I'm just going to open my book and I'm going to remember the points I have written down while I was preparing for this video. Now, the first point I said here is things to note. Ensure you're not just practicing. Make sure you're seeing daily progress. This is the first thing you need to know. Whether you're practicing to get 50 or you have a plan of getting 65 or 79. One thing that must be outstanding for you is don't just practice. You know how we say practice, practice, practice. Now, while practicing, are you seeing conspicuous progress, or you're just practicing? You're failing, yet you're practicing. So make sure you're seeing daily progress, not weekly, but daily progress. Okay? Because if you're seeing daily progress, then that means you're in the right direction. So you don't have to practice 100 read alouds or 100 repeat sentences, yet you're not getting a high score. You're actually depreciating, or you keep getting those scores between 5/10 and all that. So make sure you have daily progress. The next point here you need to notice, practice new questions. Don't just stay and practice. For instance, if you practice 20 read aloud today and practice 20 describe image or write from dictation, you not say, oh, those are the places I'm going to be. No. There are a lot of practice websites now. So don't just practice 10 questions today and then go back to those 10 questions tomorrow. No, keep going, keep making keep doing new practices. That way you know if you're making progress. That way you can actually tell yourself, yes, I know I'm making progress. Now, the next thing that you need to do is get regular feedback. Like if you hire a tutor like me to be your tutor in the course of this journey, or you hire any tutor, try to get a feedback from your tutor. Like recently, there's a student I have, he said, oh, my pronunciation score is still low. I said, okay, look at the things you need to do. This ABC thing can help increase your pronunciation score. I mean, get regular feedback. Tell your tutor, we've done read aloud, we've done repeat sentence. I'm still getting a very low score in my read aloud. Get feedback. What is your tutor saying? How can the tutor best help you? Then the next point I have here is improve your vocabulary. Now, this is an English exam. It's not it's not like your native language exam. It means that you must have rich vocabulary. You can also improve your spelling, because I mean every English exam or every exam is big on spelling. You can't be talking of writing an exam and then you're making mistakes in spelling, because once you begin to make mistakes in spelling, you're going to be losing scores. Let's say, for instance, a task like fill in the blanks in the listening. If you're making mistakes in the spelling of the words that you used to fill in the blanks, then you're not going to get the answers. Let's say maybe they say something like necessary, and then you put only one S, that's NEC, you now put double C instead of double S. It's not the same. That's not the spelling for necessary. It's an English word. It's not your language word. So you see, you have to improve on your vocabulary as well as your spelling, because this is an English exam. All right, these are the important points I wish you note. Now I'm going to also look at my jotter or my journal and tell you some other things. I'm going to put them out here while I'm talking about them. I'm going to write them on the screen. They have to appear there. Now, if you're aiming for 65, let's look at the task in the speaking that can help you get 65. Like, of course, I've already done that video, but I'm going to look at the task. I'm going to tell you how many of these tasks you need to do in a day. Let's say this is a 7-day plan or this is a 14 days plan. Let's keep that in mind, okay? So for the speaking, under the read aloud, you can do like 20 read alouds in a day if you're aiming for 65. Then if you're aiming for 65 as well, for the repeat sentence, you can do 25. Then for describe image, you can aim for 5. Now, why will you consider describe images? Because you're looking for 65, you're not looking for 50. Now, read aloud and repeat sentence will boost your score. They can give you as high as 58 or as high as 60. But you know, with a touch of describe image, it can also boost your score to like 70 or be about 68, thereabout. So 20 read aloud, 25 repeat sentence, 5 describe image daily. Then when we go back to the writing, try to do 2 summarize written tests and 2 write essays. Then under the reading, you can have the reading and writing fill in the blanks, practice like 15 a day. Then the reading fill in the blanks, practice like 15. Then under the listening, we'll have tasks like the summarize spoken test, practice 2 a day. Fill in the blanks, practice 5. Then in write from dictation, you can practice 20. Then highlight incorrect words, you can practice 3. These are the tasks you need to practice, and the number of those tasks you need to practice for you to get a good score. Now, remember, when I'm talking about you practicing these things, I'm not taking out the fact that there are tasks like retell, lecture, answer short questions, okay? I also know that those tasks are there. You have to also look at them, but don't give in so much effort like you will give these ones I've listed out. Then if you're aiming for 79, you have to look at these tasks like the read aloud. You can practice like 30 read alouds every day. You can practice like 35 repeat sentences every day, 5 describe image, maybe like 5 retell lecture every day. Then when it comes to writing tasks, like summarize written text, you can practice like 3 every day, then practice like 2 essays every day. Then for the reading, you practice like 20 reading and writing fill in the blanks, 20 reading fill in the blanks, and maybe 10 read other paragraphs on a daily basis. Then also for the listening, you can practice 2 summarize spoken tests, 10 fill in the blanks, that's listening fill in the blanks, and like 5 highlight incorrect words, and 35 write from dictations. Now these things are very important. Remember, if you're looking for 7 or band 8, or maybe you're looking for 80 and all those high scores, try to look at answer short questions, try to look at all those multiple choice questions. Just look at them, okay? But don't dwell so much on them. You have to stay focused while you're studying. Before then, you should have also actually known the tasks that will give you high scores. You should have actually known the things you need to do to get those high scores. Then these are just part of the plan in your study plan for you to get the score that you need, okay? Now, I said something here. When you finish this, maybe if you have 3 days, 2 days to your exam, you can now buy the official Pearson mock test. Now, I know that there are some mock tests on YouTube. If you don't have money to buy the official Pearson mock test, you can also go to some other websites to try out their mock tests too. Because yeah, I think they have the same mock test like the Pearson test. But why I always refer to the Pearson mock test, because these are the owner of the exams, and I believe it's the same algorithm they would use to score you in the real exam. So try out 1 or 2 of the Pearson mock test. I don't know how much you have, but you should try. I mean, if you're going to be paying $410 You should not take this exam lightly. Try to be prepared so that you give it your best shot. These are the things you need to do to prepare you to have that score that you need. Try to know where your headset should be placed, how your microphone attached to the headset should be placed. These are things that you need to learn before you go into the exam. Make sure you have good night's sleep before you go into the exam. Now, these things are not like the final things you need to do for you to score 79 or 65, but these are the things that can help you get those scores that you need. Remember, I said when I started, a study plan will make you stay focused. It can make you get that scores that you're aiming for. Put in yourself there. Don't just wait for the tutor to do magic. We don't actually do magic. Put in your best effort. If you're going to be spending that amount of money, I mean, try your best and get that score. So you prepare and plan to get that score and achieve the score that you need for your migration, your work, or your study purpose. These are the things I wish to let you know today. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please, what are you waiting for? I've got a lot of males watching my video from India, from Germany, from everywhere in the world, and they are not subscribed.